Be warned, this video will contain spoilers. After months of speculation, Ncis, Tony and Ziva is finally streaming on Paramount+. And while fans are thrilled to see these two iconic characters back in action, there's one big question hanging in the air. Why aren't Gibbs and McGee showing up? For longtime Ncis viewers, it feels almost unthinkable to have Tony and Ziva on screen without some sort of connection to their old team. But there are some pretty compelling reasons why those fan-favorite cameos haven't happened, at least not yet. For starters, Ncis, Tony and Ziva is intentionally carving out its own space in the franchise. Sure, the nostalgia of bringing Gibbs or McGee into the story would be huge, but this spin-off is more than just a reunion special. It's setting up new stakes for TV. That separation is important, especially after Ncis Season 22's finale, which left a lot of dangling threads for the flagship series to pick up in Season 23. If we look at where these characters are, the explanation becomes pretty clear. Gibbs, as we last saw, is living a quiet life in Alaska after finally stepping away from Ncis for good. He's not chasing criminals anymore. He's finally at peace after decades of loss and chaos. And honestly, pulling him back into Tony and Ziva's drama wouldn't just feel forced. It would undermine the ending the writers gave him. Gibbs has earned that retirement, and unless something earth-shattering pulls him back, it makes sense that he's staying off the grid. Meanwhile, McGee is still knee-deep in his work at the Navy Yard with the MCRT. With Parker's storyline in Season 23 pushing the entire team into high gear, especially with the Carla Marino case, there's simply no wiggle room for him to drop everything and run off to Europe to help Tony and Ziva. Even if Tony and Ziva wanted to reach out, the reality is that the timing just doesn't work. Both shows are moving full steam ahead with their own storylines, and a crossover, while tempting, could disrupt that balance. It's also worth remembering that Ncis, Tony and Ziva isn't just filling in old gaps with flashbacks. It's rooted in the present, with brand new challenges for the pair. That makes it even trickier to slot in characters from the flagship, especially when their current arcs are already keeping them occupied. And yes, the actors don't look the same as they did a decade ago, which makes jumping back into old timelines harder to pull off convincingly. Still, that doesn't mean fans shouldn't hold out hope. A crossover or cameo down the line is always possible, especially since this is the first time in Ncis history that multiple spin-offs and the main series are running side by side. Imagine the payoff if Tony and Ziva finally reach out to McGee or Palmer in a later season, or if Gibbs makes one last appearance under the right circumstances. It's the kind of long game that the Ncis franchise loves to play. So for now, Tony and Ziva's journey is theirs alone, and that's probably the best way to reintroduce them. But the question remains, would you want to see Gibbs or McGee show up later in the series, or do you think Ncis, Tony and Ziva should stand completely on its own? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what kind of crossover moments you're hoping for.